and we should be live momentarily. And we are live.
Yay!
We are live. We
Welcome,
are live.
welcome, welcome to a wonderful tea talk with Gina and MJ. I hope you have your tea ready because we're ready for you.
I
Mhm.
have a little bit of tea ready, not necessarily the one that everybody's going to want to talk about today, but it's a discussion that we all need to have, right?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm drinking my most favorite tea in the whole wide world at this point is Mary Magdalene tea, made by our one and only Gina. It is the most amazing tea, and I love it. I truly love it. Like I
Thank you.
feel home when I drink that tea. So it is one of my favorite, and it's become my daily thing in the afternoon. I grab me some Mary and sit down, and I enjoy it. So thank you. Um,
Thank
what's up
you.
with the other tea? You have another tea coming up. Did it?
I
Is it
have
ready
another
yet?
tea coming. I've got another tea coming. Um,
And we need another one because shh, shh, shh. Next month we're working with shadow season. So we need a shadows tea blend. Okay. Because that would take it over the top. What shadow and that I mean, I can see the spicy life, the what does that look like?
mhm. I have a few in the works. I got a few in the works.
I'm
So
excited. I am just excited. Guys, if you don't
I'm
know, Gina
I'm
makes teas.
it's I'm excited to really, launch. I don't know what I was afraid of launching, but
Nope.
they're coming. Yes, they're coming.
I'll be your biggest cheerleader. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, Gina is amazing. Her tea is off. She makes it herself. She uses a company that is very renowned and organic and beautiful people. So if you haven't tried the Mary Magdalene tea yet, I invite you to try it. It is so good. Like, I'm serious, no joke. And this is not, I'm not cheerleading. I literally love that tea. It's like, oh my God,
Thank
this
you.
feels so good. So, yes, please. And
Thank
I
you.
can't wait for the next one. So,
Thank you. I have gotten some reviews from other people as well, and they really do genuinely like it. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
yep, yep, yep. We're getting tea. It's tea time, you know, to
Uh,
create your own tree. That's what we want, guys. See, that's the purpose of this is to create so you can create just like, I mean, she's a master. I'm going to say that again. She's a master herbalist. So, of course, you want her to at a higher standards. But for the basic herbalists out there, which is
mhm,
you and me,
mhm.
that's what we do here. We are teaching you about the herbs to use in your day to day life, in your backyard, in your neighborhood, in your community. I mean, don't sleep on the stuff that's around you just because you think it's a weed. We want to
Right,
talk to
and
you about beautiful plants.
exactly, and that's one of the reasons why I'm going to have MJ spearhead today because she actually did a tour. I want to call it a tour with a master herbalist in Puerto Rico recently, and I wanted her to share about her experience and her findings because every place is different. And here I actually pulled out a couple things from my backyard to show that you might have some of these very same things growing in your backyard, and you may just look at them and think, "Oh, it's just a weed. I'll just mow over it, or I'll just put some Roundup to it." Don't.
Don't do it. When I tell you don't, I was so shocked at some of the things in the story. So I went on this it was a beautiful journey on Saturday where we were invited to go and learn about the herbs of Puerto Rico that you and I should be using day to day. They're in your backyard, they're everywhere. So we went through it. Literally, you're not going to believe it. It was by the beach. We went and it looked like a little area off from the beach, a little hidden forest, and we go in, and the first thing she says, it's right here. And I'm looking, and I was like, I see grass. Welcome to grass. And it's called leche de madre in
Mother's milk.
Spanish, right? It's mother's milk. And this grass back in the 20s, we're talking 1920s in Puerto Rico. Remember, Puerto Rico imported everything. So there was nothing here. And there was a time where we've had horrible hurricanes. There was nothing. So the only thing was this leche, mother's milk, and it was a weed with a little daisy flower on it. And what they do is you harvest the whole flower, the whole daisy. You harvest them all up, you put them in the blender or you put them in the water for 20 minutes, you boil it, you add some salt and garlic, and now you have baby's milk. And that is what they gave the children of Puerto Rico back in the day. So when you
Mhm.
go outside and you see those little flowers with looks like a little weed and it has a little tiny mini daisy on it, that is
Mhm.
mother's milk. That is exactly good. You can take that out and make a tea. The benefits that are in that are astounding. They help with your organs. They help with your digestive tract. They help if you are a mother with your lactosing. If you're a mom that is breastfeeding, they help with nutrition for the baby. So
Yeah.
if they gave it to their children back, and that's all they had because there was no milk.
Hmm.
Imagine what you can do with that one weed that I just passed by. I couldn't believe it. I was like, there are a couple, so I'm going to go over the main ones that I thought were amazing. The
Yeah,
second plant for me,
and
that
the thing is that that plant that grows everywhere. If you go outside right now, it's all over the place.
everywhere,
It's everywhere.
I can't not see it now. You know when you see something and you know
And
now I'm looking for it. Now I'm like I see it. I'm
yeah.
like wow, everywhere,
Mm,
and it's so beneficial. So if you grab some, pop some off, put some in a Ziploc bag, make a tea out of it. They
yeah.
called it a broth, but tea broth, it's the same concept. You want
Right.
the nutritions out of that, and it's technically it's a weed. It's grass. It's literally grass, and look how
Mhm.
healthy that grass is. And that's what
Absolutely.
that was. So, and I got this.
We
So
have a
this lady
Janine,
that's
or
in.
she's saying hello. Welcome to the show,
Oh,
Janine
thank
Orr.
you. Welcome. So we have I the lady who took me on this tour, she wrote a book. Her name is Maria Benedita, and she wrote Earth and Spirit, Medicinal Plants and Healing Lore from Puerto Rico. And what it
Mhm.
is, it has all the island areas. And what she did was she wrote a book on where you can find the stuff everywhere on the island. She
Mhm.
shaded it in so that way you can see where this in. But it was so shocking when she wrote the book in the 80s. This book is
Mhm.
what was written in 1989. That's where you can find it. That's not the case anymore because
Mhm.
of the cultivating. You can find all these herbs everywhere. The next herb I
Exactly.
want to talk to you, which is really important herb and for medicinal purposes, I want to talk to you about banana, an actual banana. I want you
Mhm.
to know when I say that yellow banana that you eat every day is amazing and beneficial for you in a way you put it in your cereal. But did you know you have never experienced a banana until you eat one off a tree in Puerto Rico? Because the bananas of the Caribbean island, and Gina's gonna smile because she knows she's right with me.
Yeah.
Island bananas are amazing. The nutrition is the sweet. They taste different. When I tell
Yeah.
you blown away, have a banana, a natural banana, not
The
farmed
soil.
or yes,
This.
is amazing. So this same banana tree she showed us and we took that everyone could eat bananas off of. And remember, bananas don't turn yellow. That's processing. They use it to turn yellow. When a banana is
Mhm.
turning yellow, it's almost at its point to be finished and done. A
Mhm.
good banana is green and you eat it green. And when I tell you it is amazing, try it. Okay, so now the banana's off the leaf and there's the tree sitting there. The banana tree is a tree that you can replant. It replants itself. It actually will form a
Yeah.
baby and keep growing. So
Yeah.
it's like a weed that just grows and grows and grows. And you would want to do that. Why do you want to do that? It is a number one plant if you have a wound. So say you're walking down the road and you get cut and you are hemorrhaging, you cut off the leaf of that banana plant and you put the sappy syrup from the leaf that you cut off on it, and you
Mhm.
just healed yourself. It has antibiotic properties in it, and it seals the wound, and it will not cause infection. How many banana plants are all over an island that you are not using? Or you may have a banana plant where you live and you just realize that banana plant could do what? That
Yeah.
syrup, that sappy syrup that is from that banana tree that you were like, what is this sap? Healing energy, that is healing properties. Do you have that one, Gina?
Yeah, if you look in Central America, in Mexico, they use the banana leaf to cook with, to make what is it? Is
They
it
make tamales with them,
tamales? Right.
and
It's
we
wrapped
make
with the banana
pasteles.
leaf. So there's a
Right,
lot of nutritional properties in the banana leaf. So they actually cook with it, and
right,
people eat on it too. If you go to places like um, Vietnam, they will actually serve you on a banana leaf.
right. And it's
Mhm.
amazing. We make pasteles with banana leaves. They're
Mhm.
wrapped in that same leaf, and it gives such a good flavor. For flavoring alone, you can take a leaf and put it on your meat. And a lot of chefs do this. They
Yeah.
take a little salt and they use the leaf because it has such flavor, and they wrap their meat in it for seasoning, and then they come back with it. So this is a
Mhm.
banana tree she showed us. So imagine having a banana tree, and they're easy to grow. Within a matter of
Very easy.
months, you can have a banana tree in your home and eat natural fresh bananas, which is
Yeah.
amazing. And the benefits of healing, you would want to keep the sap. You would want to harvest that sap from those leaves, because better than any medication out there or first aid kit, that is
Yeah.
what you need.
Now, if you
And then
do have a yellow banana and you've eaten the banana, you can take the skin and you can use it. You can rub it on your teeth, and it actually whitens your teeth.
yes,
So there's a
it's
lot, and
really good.
you can also boil the skin, and it makes a really good tea as well. Just the banana skin itself.
Right. And
Yeah.
we were just talking about also boiling the plantains and the banana leaves as well. And what do you do with the water after? It's good for liver and skin
Hmm.
issues. So
Hmm.
pour yourself a bath and put all that plantain water, all that banana water that's left over into your
Yeah.
bathtub. And when I tell you, your body is going to thank you for it. And that's a banana tree. So imagine just having a banana tree in your yard, what can do. And they're right here in Puerto Rico. I live on Puerto Rico. So here in Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
everywhere. There is not a road that you won't go that the banana trees are not just growing. Just don't pick them. Remember, the rule of thumb is if they're hanging on the road, off the road, you can grab one. If they're on somebody's property, no, do not touch.
Or ask
Yes,
permission first before you take it off.
yeah,
Just make
please
sure you
do.
ask permission. Yes.
Yes, you
So
can eat
you can
green
eat green
bananas.
bananas. Yes.
They're
Um.
very healthy for you. And even the plátano, the plantains, which is a different type of banana, I want you to know that I'll eat them like that. If they're nice enough, sweet
Mhm.
enough, the perfect plantain, I'll munch out on it because they're so good.
Now, when I was growing up, we used the green bananas to make porridge. That was our breakfast thing. We made porridge, and it's the most amazing thing. I and it's one thing that I never took the time to actually learn how to make until now as an adult, because it was my dad who always made it, and he made it. I didn't think I could ever duplicate the way that he makes it because it was so good. It was just so good. But yeah, green bananas, we make it as porridge, and it's
Look at
really,
that.
really good. So a lot
You
of
see,
people don't
and
realize you can. And you also, sorry, you can also boil the green bananas and have it as a side dish for your main meal. Yeah.
absolutely. Or a meal. Here, green bananas, you
Mhm.
boil them with some onions, a little olive oil, whoa, garlic.
Mhm.
Mm, it's a meal in
Yes.
itself. It is off the chain. And those are bananas. Those are the
Yes.
banana. But when the banana first comes out before it starts getting sweeter, it
Hmm.
has a harder kind of, it's hard in its shell, right? And then what happens is it has a more stringent what's the word that use it, it's not sweet like a natural banana, but
Right.
when you boil it, it has just an amazing taste to it, and then you add a little onions and garlic and olive oil. Oh my god,
Hmm. No, when I was
amazing.
growing up, we would have it with mackerel or with codfish. I think you guys, what's it?
Bacalao.
Bacalao.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so that's how we would serve the boiled
Mm-hmm.
green bananas, or just eat it by itself. You mash it up. And when I was younger, I put a little bit of black pepper and a little bit of butter on it. It was like, so good. I don't do that ton of butter right now, but yes, it's so good. It is so good. So
Yes,
we
that
thought
is
there's a little different, we know, but we want to kind of I wanted to give
open your
MJ a
mind.
chance to really ex give you a chance to explore your surroundings by sharing what she learned in Puerto Rico, and she's lived there for so long, and some of these things she wasn't aware of.
Yeah,
So
that where there's and you need so if I wasn't aware, where in your neighborhood, because we all have different herbs growing where we live. Gina's in Florida, so there's different herbs there. But because Florida and Puerto Rico are just so not so far away, the climate is the same. Basically, we have the same. But if you're in the Midwest, you may have a whole bunch of different herbs that don't grow here because of our
right,
climate. But we're going to talk to you about our herbs so you understand how important they are. And like I said, I have three that I wanted to talk to you. The banana, look, not only we gave you a whole bunch of different type of ways to use it and eat it and recipes, it's just an amazing tree to have. So if you have an opportunity to plant a banana tree and grow your own bananas, I invite you to do it. It's the best investment you'll ever make. And they
yeah,
grow within months. And you're going to see it when you see that tree grow, you're going to be like, Oh my goodness. So that would, and then the last one that I have, which was the creme de la creme, and this is the one that I talked to you about, was papaya. The papaya tree has so many benefits because it's not only the papaya, it's not only the stem, it's not only the leaves, or it's not only the root, it's not only the seeds, it's all of it. You
Everything.
use every single thing from that plant, that herb, excuse me, because papaya is not a plant, it is an herb. I want you to
Mhm.
know it is one of the main strongest herbs there is out there. Hmm?
Now, I want to share something because people are saying, well, if you use the 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 roots and you use this, all of the different parts. Here's the thing. If you get a papaya, you cut it open, there's a bunch of seeds inside. You take all of those seeds. I mean, there's hundreds of seeds inside of a papaya. You can start more papaya trees. But the thing is, I've seen it happen here so often when a hurricane passes through, a lot of the papaya trees get knocked over. We chop it off and then they sprout again. So it's like one of those trees that, you can cut it down low and you think, okay, it's dead. It's going to start sending off shoots at the side, right? So it's almost, I want to say, you almost cannot kill a papaya tree. I mean, you can, but it survives like hurricanes and everything. So let's talk about. I'm going to talk about the papaya seeds because well, the fruit and the seeds. I actually have one and I was going to bring it out and show you, but I totally forgot that part. But the fruit, it gets this nice orangey, like bright orange, almost like a mixture. To me, it's like a mixture of orange and pink. And if you take those two colors and mix it together, you have the color of papaya. That's just how I look at it. So papaya has this enzyme in it. If you have any kind of digestive issues, papaya is amazing. Not just the meaty part of it, but the seeds. I take the seeds and I dry them because I can't use all of the seeds at one time. So I dry them, I store them, and then whenever I need them, I take the seeds, I grind them up into a fine powder. I mix it with maybe a little bit of avocado. I use that as a scrub on my face. Or I take the seeds ground up and put it into maybe a little bit of oatmeal or something soft, and I eat it because papaya seeds are really good for intestinal bugs called parasites. So
Yep.
if you struggle with any kind of discomfort like bloating and that sort of thing, and you don't know why you're having that, I mean, let's face it, we're human. We eat fresh stuff. If you eat fresh fruit, you can easily pick up a parasite from off of fresh fruit. If you eat meat, you can easily pick up a parasite from out of meat, especially if the meat is undercooked. But you never know where you pick these things up from. But the bottom line is, and here is and this might tend to sound a little gross, but I'm just going to be blunt with you. A telltale sign that you have a parasite is if your bum itches. If you're constantly finding yourself kind of wiggling because you have that little bit of an itch back there, chances are you have parasites. And papaya seeds is like one of the best things you can work with to get rid of intestinal parasites. You can also make tea with it. You can make I don't want to say coffee, but you can actually mix it in with your coffee and take it that way. You can just take the fresh stuff and you can ground it up and just eat it that way, or just pop some of the fresh seeds right into your mouth and chew it. It has like a little gelatinous covering on the seed, so it actually tastes really good. It has like a pepper, almost a black peppery kind of taste to it. So don't throw out your papaya seeds whenever you get papayas, because they are really good for cleaning you out. And that's only one of the benefits. Okay, it has numerous benefits. And I tend to eat the ripe papaya, but the green papaya, which is what I want MJ to kind of expound on it a little bit, because when I was growing up, we would cut up green papaya and I would add it into curry. It gave a really nice flavor into curry dishes like curry chicken. but I never really looked at papaya as being not the green papaya anyway as being medicinal, but it has a lot of medicinal properties. So MJ, if you want to share a little bit of what you learned about the green papaya or the
The
papaya in
green
general.
papaya is really good. It has all the qualities that Gina said that help. You can even take a green papaya and slice it and say you have inflammation on the body, and you can actually put pieces of papaya on your skin. This is how serious this herb is, and it will bring down the inflammation. So say you got a bump on your arm, take the bump and then put the papaya on it. The skin. I've had papaya massages. I want you to know people do
Mhm.
that. It is a thing, and then you put it in and it really helps. So papaya, if you cut it when it's first harvest and you add it to 2 teaspoons on an empty stomach, it kills parasites completely. With a
Mhm.
little lemon, just so you can taste it down, kills parasites completely. That is what a green one. The green one is it's raw. That's not the one
Yeah.
ready to eat normally, but that's the one that we can use. So it's
Mhm.
very good for an inflammation. Now, if you add some worm seed plants to it as well, it helps with infections in your intestines. The same papaya plant. So when I tell
Mhm.
you that the papaya plant is multi-talented, not only with your intestines, but all your organs, eating
Yeah.
papaya every day or putting it in a smoothie is actually a really good thing to do. It will help you with inflammation. So say if somebody that's suffering from lupus or
Mhm.
fibro or is in a constant flare up,
Mhm.
papaya
Yep.
should be part
Papaya
of
is
your
really
daily day. Mhm.
good.
Now the seeds are just separate the seeds. The leaves, you can make a tea out of the leaves, and the
Yep.
teas also help. The teas help your organ, your the mucus inside your lungs. The teas help the mucus, which is caused by inflammation on the bottom. Did you know it goes deep down in there and it helps with that as well? Also, the vine, the green vine, the roots are also chopped up and
Mhm.
boiled, and they're put into soups and broths to help people who are recovering from serious illnesses like cancers and flus. It
Mhm.
helps the body rejuvenate. So that is what they use the green and only we're talking the green papaya. So it
Right.
rejuvenates the body. Can you believe that? That one papaya
Mhm.
that's sitting there. Now, I'm on an island where papaya is one because they fall and they drop a million seeds. So now you have forests of them. It's like a weed.
Sure
I want to
can.
be got to be careful. You got to be careful with that because they'll drop and they'll keep growing and growing, and pretty soon you'll have papaya forests because they'll just
Mhm.
and they won't stop. So keep growing them, but be careful with the seeds in eating, where because they have all these amazing qualities. But one quality
Mhm.
they do have, and back in the day, is women would eat that if they did not want it to have childbirth, if they did not want to have a child, because it
Mhm.
lowers your ability to have a child, and in men as well. So if you are
Mhm.
a gentleman and you want to have children, papaya seeds here and there are fine, but eating papaya seeds on a regular basis is a no bueno. Don't do that.
Right.
You actually, it was one of the guys. There was a guy there at the place, and it was like I couldn't believe it. She was like telling the story about the seeds and that please be careful because they back in the day, mothers would even give their young teenagers daughters this because the children would get pregnant. Ladies, the young women here would get pregnant early.
Mhm.
So to prevent them from getting pregnant early, they would feed them the seeds so that way they would wait longer and longer so that way they can
Mhm.
have a life. So a gentleman was
That's
there and he's like, "Oh my God, I eat papaya seeds every day for the last 30 years." And she looked at him and she goes, "Got any kids?" He's like, "No." Well, it did its job and walked away. I was like, "Oh my God. Oh my God."
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
So be
gosh. It's
careful.
the same.
That's how serious.
You mentioned worm the worm seed, but it's
Wormwood.
the herb is called wormwood. So
Mm-hmm.
this is we're talking about the same thing, and it's the same thing with wormwood. And because a lot of people aren't don't realize that when you're taking these herbs and these different plants that you find around, they're not meant for you to consume every single day like these seeds, right? They're not meant for you to consume every single day. For the wormwood, it's the same thing. Pregnant women are not supposed to take it, as well as if you're trying to get pregnant. If you're nursing, it's fine, but you are only supposed to take it in general for between 2 to 4 weeks to allow it to do its job, clean you out, get rid of what it needs to get rid of, and then you stop. It's not meant to be an everyday, 365 days a year type of thing. Okay, too much of a good thing can be really bad for you, right? So
Right.
these, what we're talking about, these medicinal properties, like these with the seeds and wormwood, it's only meant for a short period of time. So if you're, using this every single day, if you don't want children, I mean, it's fine, but it's not meant for you to consume every single day. Okay?
Right. Right. You'll have a healthy body, but it's with
Exactly.
everything. We tell you with everything, with every herb that we have discussed here, we give you that warning. Please check with your doctor. Please check your medication.
Exactly.
And nothing in, you know what? I love chocolate cake, but if I eat chocolate cake every day for the rest of my life, guess what? I'm going to be a chocolate cake, and I don't want to be a chocolate cake. So can we just use that as an example?
Right. Yeah. Right. So, and another thing I wanted to add is we do have there is research to back up everything that we're saying, and there is actually, when we're talking about the papaya, there was a study done back in 2007 by a doctor, John. I'm going to butcher his last name, Okerisi, I believe is his last name, and it proved that kids who were given the papaya seeds to get rid of parasites, 71% of them actually got rid of the parasites completely. So that would then there are numerous studies that have been done on papaya, on the green plantain, on wormwood, and typically when you find wormwood as well, you also see it combined with another plant, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, called Mimosa pudica. Except you may not know it as Mimosa pudica. You probably know it as a shy plant. You know that plant where you go and touch the leaves and it closes up? That's a shy plant. And there's a lot of the genus is called Mimosa, and here in Florida we have one called Mimosa strigosa. It's in the same family, similar benefits, but most people are familiar with the Mimosa pudica, which is the one that's typically blended with wormwood to create this very powerful anti-parasitic blend. And you can actually find numerous things online if you want to go just buy something rather than looking around your yard. Because here's the other thing: before you go pulling something out of your yard and using it, if you're not qualified to identify these plants, please don't go putting any of them in your mouth. I'm sure that there is some kind of an extension around where you can find a qualified person. Right here, just down the street, there's what we call the Florida Extension. They have herbalists there. They have what are the botanists there that will actually explain to you, yes, this plant might look like this plant, but it's actually two totally different things. This one's poisonous, this one's not. Because there
Absolutely.
are a couple plants right now outside that if you didn't know exactly what you were looking at, one of them kills you and the other one is really good for you. So make sure that you do not go putting anything into your mouth unless you're absolutely certain that you know what you're picking. Okay? Just let's put that out there.
No, I think that's a beautiful, because I've had that happen here, and I believe Anna had picked. We have a friend called Anna, and I believe she picked something and she thought it was one thing, and then it turned out to be something else. So, good
Yes.
example. Now she uses a great app. She found this wonderful app that she uses, and it
Mhm.
tells her what the plant is, and that way she can do more research on it to see if it's something that she wants and uses. So there are plant
Absolutely.
apps out there, guys. So use them, because then you can have research it and say, oh my God, that's medicine and I need that, you know? And always ask permission. I'm going to ask you, when you take anything, please ask the gods, the spirits, the tree
Yeah.
spirits, please ask for permission. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We're all on this planet. We're not the only ones. They're here too. They're the ones that keep us alive. So always ask permission, please, you know?
Yes. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about. And I think we're going to do that in a separate one because I wanted to really teach you how to connect with the plants that you come into contact with around, that you want to, once you've learned about the plants in your area, when you're ready to really connect with them on a deeper level, I want to show you the steps that you can go through to really connect with those plants and learn more about them. Okay. Um, since we're on the topic of, talking about parasites, I wanted to share with you a little story. When I was growing up, and I shared this with MJ earlier, when I was growing up, we had this little yellow box that always came out at the end of summer vacation, and on it was Benjamin's, and it was um, herb herb tea. I think that's what it said on there. And every time we saw that little yellow box come out, if you're from the Caribbean, if you're from Jamaica or Cayman, you see that yellow box, you know what time it is. It means it's time for a washout because school is about to start. And we usually get the washout about 2 weeks before school starts. And for the next couple of days, the bathroom is our best friend. Because when it's called a washout, because it does that, it's a blend of herbs, including things like wormwood and mimosa pudica, but we don't call it that. We call it the shy plant, as well as things like senna. And, senna is a very powerful, laxative type of herb. And a few other things are in there. And we take that, and within a couple of hours, you are on the throne for a good while. And this happens for, a few days to make sure that we get rid of all of the bugs that we might have picked up over the summer. Because as kids, we find mango trees. We don't know anything about rinsing fruits that you picked off the tree. We just pick and eat. We pick and eat. That's how we grew up. And we survived. I'm still here. But they did have their way of, helping us by giving us this herb tea, which helped to get rid of the different whatever parasites we may have picked up. So that's and even as adults, there's various ways that we could pick up things. We have pets. We can get bugs from pets. Where our kids are in daycare, if you have young kids and they go to daycare, we can pick stuff up there. If we're not extremely clean, and we do get fresh fruit from different areas, and you eat there, there's numerous ways that we can pick up these bugs. So nobody is really immune to them. um, if you have bloating, intestinal issues, and nothing is really helping, check. You might have a parasite. Might be time for a cleanse. If you've never done a cleanse, chances are you got stuff living in there that you don't even know about. It's just a good
She's
thing to
right.
do a cleanse twice
This
a
is right.
year, right?
I was going to say that. Thank you. You were right. I would say 2 to 3 times a year you should be
Yes,
clearing out that body. Very important, because if you don't know what's in there. You can be as healthy as you want. I know that
exactly,
Gina is a vegan and I am a vegetarian. So, but even with that being said, we
exactly,
still have to clean ourselves out purposely. It's
exactly. And
purposeful.
yes, and let's that good segue into my little story is the reason why I'm doing one right now is because I have I'm very connected to my body. I am very intuitive when it comes to knowing that something is going wrong or something is kind of off. My energy is kind of off. Let's put it that way. So I know when I need to do a little bit of a cleanup or a little bit of a detox, because I tend to get, when it comes to parasites, I tend to get visions. And I know it sounds, like woo woo, but that's the only way for me to explain it, because it literally pops up in my vision and I see the parasite clear as day. And that way I know that it's actually inside my body. And this has happened to me numerous times where I actually see it. And the first time it happened to me was a while back, and this thing just popped up there, and I'm like, it took me aback. It's like, what? So I remembered, and I could literally see it as I was drawing it on a piece of paper. I took a picture of it and I did the Google search, and I found an almost identical picture to it in Google, and it clear as day right there said parasite. I said, oh, all right, so now I know that I need to do a little bit of a clean out, which I did. And then this past weekend, and this is going to, segue into a message I got from MJ last night to show you that she taps into my energy, and she sent me a message last night that was spot on as to what I needed, because she didn't know that I actually was trying to get rid of these parasites in my body. But she sent me this message last night that had wormwood and a few other things, and part of me was like, woman, get out of my energy stream, too much. But it was spot on, So when you know your body and you connect with your body, connect with your energy, you know when something is not quite right. So that's why I'm doing it right now. And the I'm going to share with you a couple things that are in my backyard, which I just pulled off. Cersei. There's a lengthy video that I've done on YouTube about Cersei. And Cersei is good for the liver, the kidneys, getting rid of it's a bitter herb, so it's going to like clean you out there. You probably have leaf of life. We call it leaf of life where I grew up. So
Mm-hmm.
that is literally right there, just fresh, right?
Right
But
outside.
the Cersei over here is considered a weed. And I actually had a former neighbor round up the entire fence where I had Cersei growing. And I came out and I saw her doing it and I looked at her and I just, please stop. She's like, why? It's weed. Like, no, it's not a weed. It's medicine that I'm growing in my fence. And she was so apologetic, but it gave me a chance to actually educate her. And she said she's grown up there, she's seen it everywhere, and she always looked at it as a weed, right? So this is why we wanted to share this. Like, from here on out, wherever you live, take the chance to examine what quote unquote weeds might be growing in your yard. Because look at a dandelion. Most people look at dandelion as being a weed, but is one of the most beneficial medicinal plants out there,
And it's
right?
everywhere.
And it's
Everywhere.
everywhere.
For free. You could just pick it up. And it's the whole head. You don't have to dissect it. Pop up the whole head. And there you
Yes,
go. There's your medicine.
exactly. So that's what we wanted to share with you. MJ, you can go back. I know you were talking about wormwood at one point.
That's okay. That's good. But let's go start. So papaya is a feminine energy. I'm just going to talk about it. It's related to the moon because it's watery, and when you eat it, you taste the water in that one. Okay, papaya represents the abundant nature of life. It is for love and protection. The Filipino legend says that a couple, Bataway and Papaya, were happily married, and a storm came, and everything was gone, and they did not have food for their baby. She was a magical being, so she decided to take her life and gave her life for everyone, for the world. And she turned into the first papaya plant and grew in the fields. And she let her seeds drop down, and within months' time, food was abundant everywhere.
Yeah.
A really beautiful story, and that's the Philippine legend of that. In ancient Mayan civilization, papaya trees were the most sacred tree. It is said that the Spanish explorers were traveling with papaya in 1526. Where were they bringing it from? Okay. Now, if you mix papaya leaves and mandrake and you put it in a bath or you burn it, it reverses your hexes and curses. So if you feel that you are cursed or you have something going on, you're going to mix up some papaya, you're going to take some mandrake. These are all herbs, and you are going to mix them together, and you're either going to burn it and instantly gone. Also, dreaming of papaya. When you dreaming of papaya, it sends emotional messages of spiritual chains being broken. So when you dream of a papaya, it means in your spiritual realm, all that is holding you back is starting to break down because of the abundance that you are. That is what papaya represents. Okay. We told you about the seed of papaya that if you don't want to have children, that's the
Right.
ticket. But anything, even if you don't want to have children, I'm going to put this disclaimer: everything needs to be in moderation. Do not
Right.
overdo any herb, regardless.
And here's the thing.
Okay.
Let me add something else in there. Anything that is meant to go in and kind of disrupt your digestive system for a moment, you do not want to be taking for too long because yours. Okay, I knew someone who took Senna every single day. Senna is a laxative. When you take Senna every single day, your stomach doesn't do the job that it needs to do as far as digesting, because the senna goes in and does it for you, right? And basically, after a while, your stomach stops working. Then you wonder, well, I stopped the senna. Why am I constipated all the time, right? Because you've relied on the senna to do the job for you, so your digestive system stops working. It's like, why? Well, you're basically doing the job for me, so I'm just going to stop. So that is another reason, because these herbs are just meant to go in and assist in a particular job for a short period of time. They go in, they get rid of the parasite, or they get rid of whatever junk might be stuck in your intestines, flush it out, you stop the herb, and then your body kind of picks up and goes on with its natural normal function. This is why you do not want to take senna or any of these other herbs for longer than 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks max. Okay.
Okay, and then the other thing is a fun fact about papaya. The papaya is botanically a berry. It may look like it grows, but 100% it is an herb. So no matter what people tell you, that's a fun fact. So when you go out there and you're on the tree and you say, that's an herb, right? And they're like, no, that's a tree. It's an herb.
Yeah.
And that's the fun fact. So we wanted to tell you papaya. That's what I have for you, papaya, because, and I gave you the three most. We went about and she showed the other herbs and the things we can do with the herbs and how to use them. But that's what it intrigued us. And I'm so glad that Gina brought this up, because it's summertime. If you're here in the United States areas, it's summertime. Everything is growing. Everything. This is the season that everything starts harvesting for the fall and the winter. Okay, we're about to come into second harvest. Are you ready? Are you grabbing those herbs? Don't cut them. Start collecting them. Start drying them. Start putting them away. Start knowing and using them.
Yeah.
You're going to see the change in your body. Now, with natural herbs, please be aware that this is not the miracle drug. Nothing happens overnight. It takes time, and it's not one herb. It's many herbs put together that you take in your body. So
Right.
please be aware of that when we talk. So
And if
I
you
have
are
the crystal.
taking any kind of pharmaceuticals, you want to make sure that you consult with your doctor before.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Because it can, your system level, it could bring down your blood pressure. It can do so many things, and you don't want that. Okay, so that we're going to keep
Exactly.
throwing it in almost in every other video that we've done. We've told you, please, please, please check with your doctors first. We tell you the herbal part of what it is, but always check on what you're taking. And when Gina says something that's very important too, know your body. Feel into your body. If your body's like, this is not for you, and when something's not for you, when you start taking and you get gassy, or you get like heartburn, it's your body giving you signs like, hey, what did you put in me that doesn't belong there? It's time to get rid of it. Listen
Right.
to your body. Your body's going to tell you what herbs are meant to be in there, and it's going to even grow in your hair. Say I had my condition took me to one point where my hair started to fall out, so I said, let me cut it short. You won't notice. But even then, so I decided, let me find the herbs and supplements that I need for my hair. And with the stuff I take, my hair is great. So it's a lot of things. It's just not one thing. So be open for
Right.
it. Your skin is going to love you for papaya, though. Your skin is going to love you. It is also,
Yes.
we didn't say it, but I'll put it out there right now before we end this. It's a beauty. It's for beauty. Put papaya on your skin. You have inflammation under here at night, or those bags, papaya. Put some slices of papaya right here. It's going to be a
It sure
miracle for
is.
you.
There's an enzyme in there called papain. You put that on, it actually is considered to be an anti-aging agent. So yes, papaya is very good
See?
for your skin.
So with all the list that we gave you, and you can research papaya, and you're going to see all the magnificent medicinal things that it does for you. So I gave the only stone I could keep thinking of. I'm like, what crystal could I name this stone that would be such an amazing stone? And the only one that I could think of was bloodstone, because bloodstone does the same thing that papaya
Mhm.
does. Inflammation. It helps with the body. You could literally put it on the skin. Bloodstone,
That's with your
where you're
heart,
hurting.
everything.
Right. Your heart, you have a headache, I put it on my chakras every day, because you want to give and you say, well, it's a healing stone. Yeah, but you know what? we need to give our body maintenance every day. So use it and put it on the places that it hurt. This is my favorite crystal right here in the whole wide world. It took me through many surgeries. I sleep with it on my bed. If you don't have bloodstone, bloodstone is something, especially if you have ailments and conditions, it really is something you need in your body. But with all that being said, for papaya, add papaya and bloodstone, the two things that are going to really benefit your health and your life changes that you are making.
Absolutely. So there were two things, two topics I think that we'd like to continue, not today, but in other episodes, is basically how to become, kind of how to tap into your own, for lack of a better way of putting it, your own medical intuition. And also how to connect with plants, because I go out there and, like MJ, before I even pick anything, you ask permission, you connect with the plant, you let them acknowledge your presence, and before you pick anything, you ask permission. These plants are living beings, and if you don't, there's an experiment that was done. I'm just going to do this really quickly. There's an experiment that was done of two plants, and the guy would come in and would abuse one of them, right? And this was all being recorded on devices that they had. It was an experiment that was being done. And the other plant actually showed fear whenever the person came in and stood. And it didn't do anything, but it was documented by, electronic waves, or however they did it, to show that these plants actually show fear and other emotions. So connect with the plant that you want to get to learn, and before you pick anything, you ask permission. And that way, remember, everything is energy. It's our energy, it's the
Everything.
plant's energy, so you want to connect before. And we wanted to talk a little bit more about that in another episode, and also how to really connect with your body, and because your body talks to you all the time. You might not be listening, but when you really
Stop
start to listen,
squirreling.
exactly, when you really start to listen to your body, it's amazing the messages that you get, right? Just like the vision that I got about the parasite. I mean, it literally was a vision. And then confirmation came when I get the message from MJ with, one of the things I needed. And she didn't even know this, that I had actually just bought some wormwood a couple of days before. She had no clue until last night when I told her. So when you connect with your body and you really start to listen, it's amazing what you can learn and how to move forward once you connect it. All right. So that's all that I had.
That's all that
MJ.
I had for today because, like I said, I got this book. This is Puerto Rico, and the name of the book is Spirit and Plants, Earth and Spirit of Puerto Rico. But remember, if this is one, I know you have one in your local. Don't you want to be intrigued in your backyard what you have that you can heal? You know what? All else fails. Let's go into all else fails, and there is no more medicine in the world, and the pharmacies disappear. There are
Exactly.
no more Walgreens. Don't you want to know that you have the herbs in your backyard to heal the world? They're right there, guys. Let's start reconnecting and knowing, instead of using weed killers to kill them, start harvesting them and using it. We have, like I said, the winter months are coming. Pretty soon, all that green is going to be gone for you. So the harvest is now. And what a good way. You and your children have a game. Let's take an app. Let's see what this is. Is it good? What can we do with it? And remember, what you use as an herb, as what you use as an herb for food, you can, on the spiritual side, you can make candles, you can do magic. Okay, so you can use this in so many ways. Don't discount them and always be open. That's what I have for you. And thank you for allowing me to share my weekend.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, it's I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think it's important for people to know that it's not just the stuff that I share, because I have access to much here, but the thing is, the climate where I live is different from the climate in Minnesota, because you guys have these long winters, but at some point during the year you have things growing, right? So it's good to be able to get familiar with the plants that are growing in your neck of the woods, because what grows in zone 1 is different from what grows in zone 7, 8, and 9, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to be familiar with that as well. So thank you,
Absolutely.
MJ, and thank you for everyone who came to watch. Those who are going to watch the replay, for the interaction. This was amazing. So I'm glad you all
We
enjoyed this.
enjoyed it. Thank you.
See you all again soon.
We'll see you soon. Bye bye.